Hello! Hello everyone, it is currently 1 p.m. where I'm from. Hello, good afternoon, good morning, happy time zone. Hello, hello, hello. Oh my goodness. Welcome everyone. Apologies if you hear my lizards. I've hired help to take care of my yard and they do not appreciate people they don't know being in my yard. Yes, they get quite loud, so I apologize if you can hear them at various points during the stream. They bark, yes. Very chatty lizards. Very chatty. Good afternoon. How am I doing? I would say I'm doing fairly alright. I had another productive morning, and I'm going to have another productive day. Because after this stream, I have quite a few things that I need to complete. I mentioned before that I've had a bit of a cough, for the last 2 months. And, you all do not get to really hear it that much because I mute anytime I do cough. It's quite often. You may see my mouth move and nothing coming out of my mouth, and that's because I am coughing. And as a result, I have quite a few recordings that have backed up. And I'm trying to meet several deadlines and deadlines that have passed, and everything has just been delayed so much, and I'm trying to catch up. I am asthmatic, yes. That's also why you may hear my throat clearing several times during streams, at least until it gets better. Hope it gets better so recording goes more smoothly for you. Thank you, I greatly appreciate it. I'm so sorry about them. They are a rowdy bunch, and I'm not sure when the help is going to be leaving my home. You see, since I am hosting Thanksgiving this year, I need to make sure my house is in tippy-top condition, since I will have many a guest. And so I found it imperative to have my yard mowed. I've somewhat slacked on having my yard taken care of. And it's not that it's terribly overgrown. It just looks horrible. Not horrible, but it looks disheveled. It looks disheveled. Yes, I'm hosting Thanksgiving, and I'm doing all of the cooking. Thankfully this year, I told my guests, I said, we're doing Thanksgiving dinner this year. Not Thanksgiving lunch, Thanksgiving dinner. And I did that so that I could stream for you all on Thanksgiving morning. It will be quite early. It will be 7 a.m. Pacific, PST on Thursday. So I will be streaming a little bit on Thanksgiving morning. Yes. Madam, I'm very protective over my horror movies, so if you cut any bad wires here, I'm canceling you on Twitter. Do your worst. You won't succeed. We don't celebrate Thanksgiving here. Why is dinner unusual? Well, at least in the region that I am from, Thanksgiving lunch is a bit more likely than Thanksgiving dinner. It's very common here for a lot of gatherings and such to happen during lunchtime, anywhere from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. usually. So this year, I believe this is the first time in my life that Thanksgiving is ever being held in the evening. Yes. So, I will have a lot of time on Thursday to cook all of my dishes. I'm quite excited. Thankfully, I don't have to cook the turkey. My mother is bringing that. I am cooking a ham for the rest of the guests, I don't eat pork, so it will be for everyone else. That is very early. It's quite common here. Do you have traditional Thanksgiving? Yes, I do. Fried turkey? No, it will be... I actually don't know what kind of turkey she's bringing. I believe it's not one she is making. It is one that she purchased from... What is it called? Honey baked ham or something. It's like a restaurant where you can buy hams and various other meats. Yes. But I will be making everything. No yams! I do not like yams. I don't think anyone that will be at my Thanksgiving will like yams. We got a tiny ham. I got a 10-pound ham. I'm quite excited to get started because I've made ham a few times in my life, and people seem to really enjoy it. So I'm quite excited to make another one. I don't like yams. Do you have the football game on during Thanksgiving dinner? I'm not really a sports person. I grew up around sports people. My parents were actually athletes. But I'm not that big of a fan of sports. I think tennis is quite enjoyable to watch. I enjoy tennis, I enjoy badminton. You know, I feel like the only time that I enjoy sports is when the Olympics is happening. I actually was visiting my father when the last Olympics was going on, and we watched together, and it was quite fun. It was quite fun. Oh, yes, I'm quite excited. I love being a host. I love being a host for various events, especially where I can cook. I'm very passionate about cooking, especially for large groups of people. Komo's parents are loaded. Oh no, anything but. They were athletes in their early years. My parents are retired now, and they do not make that much money. Oh, my lizards have what they call the zoomies. Isn't it tiring being a host? It is exhausting work sometimes, but I feel like it is worth it in the end. Oscar! Annie! No. No. Glad that you can be a host. I know you'll do great. Thank you. I greatly appreciate it. And I hope that all of you who celebrate Thanksgiving will also have a great holiday as well. Rather than watching a football game on Thanksgiving, my group and I will be watching Stranger Things because part 1 of the last season is actually releasing on Thanksgiving Day. So that is what I will be watching. And of course, I will probably put on a Christmas movie. I enjoy putting on Christmas movies while I cook around the holidays, so... I see. Favorite recipe? Ooh, my favorite recipe to make is actually braised short rib. It's very... Though a lot of recipes for braised short rib call for red wine to be used, I get quite sick when I drink wine. I'm not an alcohol person. I don't drink. I'm just not. It makes me feel terrible. So I sub out red wine. You can sub out red wine for braising using unsweetened apple juice. And so how we braise the short rib, the recipe that I follow, is usually, you know, you cook the short rib until every side is a bit browned. Then you take it off of the heat, and instead you put your vegetables, the usual celery, garlic, carrots, shallots, and the like. And you let it all sit in a in your little, what is it called? Is it a Dutch oven? Something like that. And you cook until the aromatics start going off. So you smell the garlic. You can combine it with thyme and rosemary, and also brown sugar, and you let everything kind of caramelize a bit. Not too much though, because this is going to be slow cooking in your oven for several hours. So after your vegetables are looking nice, you put your meat, you put your short ribs back into the mixture of vegetables and aromatics. And then you put in quite a bit of beef stock? Beef broth, not stock. Beef broth and apple juice. And then you just slide it in the oven with the top on, but not completely on to your crock pot, your Dutch oven. And you set it in the oven for about 2.5 hours. And then the beef ribs will they're just like pull apart, you know. They're so tender and wonderful. In fact, I would love to make them on stream sometime. I'd love to make them on stream sometime. They're one of my favorite things to make during the holidays or when I want to impress someone. You seem like someone you'd want help from in the kitchen with how you talk. I like to be the only person in the kitchen. I become a terrible, terrible witch when someone else is in the kitchen with me. I have to be the only one in the kitchen when I am cooking, when I am cleaning. I become evil. I become evil and dark and terrible. And I get what I call, I'm going to fucking kill someone disease whenever someone is in the kitchen with me. No one can be in the kitchen with me when I am making food or when I am cleaning dishes. I become a wretched, wretched witch. Yet I am a kitchen tyrant. I rule the kitchen. How often do you wash your hands while cooking? I wash my hands before I start. And then if my hands get covered in literally anything, you know, like a sauce or like a vegetable juice or fruit juice, and I'll wash my hands. And also, if I touch raw meat, then I'm going to wash my hands immediately after. Especially if it's chicken. And then, of course, after I've done preparing, I will wash my hands. Yes. If you want something done right, do it yourself. Exactly, exactly. Exactly. Cross-contamination. Ooh. Salmonella is a nasty thing. It is. It is. I actually made curry last night for dinner. I'm quite fond of curry. I normally make it with beef, but I had this fantastic chicken katsu curry while I was on vacation earlier this year, and I've been wanting to remake it, and so I think I will do that next time. As you see, I have a guest that will be staying for several days during the Thanksgiving holidays, and they mentioned to me that they really enjoy chicken katsu, and so I thought, maybe I will make chicken katsu curry this weekend. Have a good stream. I go to PT. Have a good time. Foodborne illnesses is bad. It is. Iron cast, stainless, or non-stick. It really depends on what you're making. So, for things like cornbread and, like, maybe not casserole is the word, I would use a cast iron. For non-stick, I do a lot of things in non-stick. I don't really like stainless steel. I feel like it is so difficult to clean. And I know that there are easier ways to clean stainless steel, but I'm just not a fan. I'm just not a fan. I hate cleaning stainless steel. I mostly do everything in a non-stick or a wok. But yes, I love cornbread and casseroles and the like in cast iron. Walk, my beloved. Just get too used to nonstick. I just get so lazy. I hate the cleanup. I hate cleaning dishes. I got a cast iron pan a few years ago, and not gonna lie, I wish I had done so earlier. It'll change everything. I think that's the only way to make cornbread is in a cast iron skillet. My mother makes the most wonderful, wonderful cast iron skillet cornbread. Ooh, that's a good question to ask you all, especially with the Thanksgiving holiday nearing. Do you prefer your cornbread to be savory or sweet? I know that it varies because if you go to the north a bit, a lot of cornbread is sweet. But where I'm from, it is salty. It is savory. I'm able to kind of analyze you geographically by your answer. I do happen to like sweet cornbread sometimes, but I'm a much bigger fan of savory. I'm a little odd with my cornbread though. I grew up with my grandmother making cornbread, you know, the cast iron way. And it's the recipe that my mother learned. And my grandmother served it with ketchup and steamed cabbage one day. And oh my goodness, I still do this in my adulthood, but I love dipping cornbread in ketchup. I have to say ketchup is my favorite condiment, but I love dipping cornbread in ketchup. It's so yummy. I feel like sweet cornbread goes a lot better with a meal, while savory cornbread is fine on its own, if that makes sense. Or with vegetables. I feel like you need a sweet cornbread with a mixed plate of various things. But I feel like, you know, savory cornbread is fine on its own or with vegetables. I love a little plate of cornbread and butter peas. It is so, so delicious. It is so delicious. So, so yummy. So, so yummy. I love cornbread. I love cornbread. It is delicious. I've been eating it all my life. Difference between northern and southern pho. I see. Love cornbread. I need more Prez cooking advice. I'd love to do some cooking-esque content sometime. That was actually something that I was... before I debuted, we were trying to figure out what kind of streams I could do. And I thought, oh, maybe I could do some cooking-based content. Because I really enjoy cooking, I love baking, and the like. But I ended up kind of wavering away from that a bit, and I'm not sure why. But I think it would be fun to do a cooking stream every so often. I do. I just don't have... I think I need to redo my setup for cooking and the like. Do you watch Food Theory? I don't. I feel like the food-related content that I watch is normally binging with Babish and then Last Meals. And Last Meals is where a host will ask a celebrity what their last meal would be. Because, you know, when you're on death row and you're about to be executed, they ask you what you want as your last meal, and they will make pretty much anything, or they'll get pretty much anything. And so they ask these actors and influencers and celebrities, they ask them, what would your last meal be? And then they talk about mortality and other things related to death and their life and everything while they enjoy their last meal. It's really fun. I love Last Meals. It's so fun. Film recipes. Oh, now that's a fun idea. That might be a fun little cooking idea, is to make meals from various movies. Want to learn how to cook but can never work up the motivation to just do it. you don't have to start with something big. When I started cooking, it was so small, and it's even just microwaving something. You need the motivation to feed yourself. When I was a kid, I remember there was some canned tuna fish, and I remember, I'm so hungry, I don't like this very much. How can I make this better? Well, my mother wasn't home, and I just combined it with some Worcestershire sauce and microwaved it, and I thought, oh, this is a bit more tolerable. And then as I got to be a preteen and my mother let me use the kitchen, I thought, oh, I'll start small. I like hamburger meat. Let's make meatballs. And so a common meal that I would make when my mother wasn't home was meatballs. And I just eat meatballs, and then I started adding vegetables to the meatballs, like onions and potatoes and the like, and baking bread and things like that. And then, you know, it started building up from there, and I was able to make more things. And I feel like in the last 3 or 4 years, I've really been able to hone cooking a bit. She can say the sauce name. Worcestershire sauce? I always need it in my refrigerator because I think it makes hamburgers delicious. I always put Worcestershire sauce into a hamburger mixture whenever I'm making burgers from home. Home cooking is always great. It is always so fun. She says it in such a regal way. Very much so. Good and stew. It is! Ooh! I love a good beef stew. And I do put Worcestershire sauce in my beef stew. It's very yummy. Very yummy and very aromatic. It's been so long since I've made beef stew. The last time I made beef stew, I believe I was visiting my father. And my father was asking, well, what can you make? What can you make? And I said, I can make anything you want. And he said, okay, make a beef stew. And so I did. And he burned the roof of his mouth because my father's not a very patient person when it comes to eating. And he will immediately just put it in his mouth without blowing on it, and so he will burn the roof of his mouth. Relatable. Do you have any food that makes you have that ego moment from Ratatouille and sent back to childhood? Yes. Yes. It's... My mother, when I was a child, she would do this thing where she'd bake... You know those very flaky, layered Pillsbury dough biscuits? The butterflake kind? My mother would cook a ton of bacon until it was crispy. And then she would bake these biscuits until they're done. But when they're hot, you can peel the layers off of them. And my mother would peel every layer off and wrap it around some bacon. And I just thought it was so delectable. It was so wonderful. And occasionally, my mother would make it in my adulthood when I'd ask. I remember a few years ago, I was having some issues with my health, and I wasn't eating, and my mother was like, you need to eat something. What can I make? And I asked her to make that. And it was so wonderful, and I was able to get my appetite back. It was so lovely. And so now, if my mother asks me if she can make something for me, I will ask her to make that. I can make it just as fine at home, but it's just not the same unless my mother makes it. It's just not the same. My mother is quite... She kind of just goes with whatever I ask. If she asks me what I want, she will make it. I remember... So my birthday is in July. July 20th. And my mother asked me a few years ago. She asked me, what do you want to eat for your birthday? And I said, I want Thanksgiving food. And so my mom cooked a whole turkey breast. She made mashed potatoes, green bean casserole, cranberry sauce, everything. She made everything in the middle of July. And it was so wonderful. It was so lovely. It was so great. Fantastic. Oh. I do be like that. I refuse to eat any form of mac and cheese that isn't my grandmother's. Oh my goodness. My great-grandmother, she was quite the cook. Quite the cook. I think anyone in my family or my mother's family would agree that she was the best cook. She had the best food they'd ever had. The best food they'd ever had. And she made this wonderful pound cake. Just a regular pound cake, not flavored or anything like that. And it was, everyone knew about it. Everyone knew about it. And she took the recipe to the grave. None of us have been able to make it. None of us. It has been 12 years, and none of us have been able to make it the way that she could. She left behind a recipe that we doubt is her own. We think it's a faux one that she came up with so that none of us would be able to make it the way that she did. It's lost to time. It's lost media. It's lost media. I miss it so much. She would make it during every occasion, and it was so fantastic. This is coming with me. She took so many recipes to the grave, according to my family. Grandma Opsec. That is so silly. You can't make it because you can't replicate her love she put into it. I suppose that's true. I don't think anyone ever loved as much as she did. She was a lovely woman. She was a lovely woman who loved hard, and she was loved by all. Maybe that's it. It needs to be made by someone that has all the love in their heart. The OG gatekeeper. That is so silly. Well, now that we've had a little chat about food and the like, how about we get started? So, I made this tier list, and I made it based off of the suggestions that you all put. These are your favorite horror movies. We only have about 30 submissions, but I will also be going over on my Letterboxd account, over here, and I will be rating each movie that we find. Or not find, but each movie that we rank, we will be rating as well. Yes, yes, yes. Alright, so we're going to get started with The Thing. It is really one of a kind, first of its time. The practical effects are amazing. I love The Thing. Do you want to know something? I've always loved horror movies. And I only watched this movie for the first time about 3 or 4 years ago. Only 3 or 4 years ago. I was very surprised when I realized that I had never seen it before. The original The Thing. Oh, goodness, the original. It holds up amazingly, it really does. It really does. So I will have to put in an S. And we're going to log it. Why is it not working? The Thing. John Carpenter. I've watched this before. I did not watch this. Add to your diary. I watched this before. And I would easily give it 5 stars. I would easily give it 5 stars. It is really just... It is such a wonderful cosmic horror. So fantastic. Never watched a horror movie, so this will be interesting. Ooh. It is just so wonderful. So we have rated The Thing. And we've ranked it. So it is in S. S. Now the next one is The Evil Dead 2. And this is a big fan favorite. A lot of people prefer it over the first Evil Dead movie, right? I'm not in that camp. I actually very much enjoy the first Evil Dead. I very much enjoy the first Evil Dead over Evil Dead 2. I still think it is good and it is fun, but I do have to say it's not as good to me. Army of Darkness, I'm not that much of a fan. I'm not that much of a fan. I think it's fun, but I wouldn't say that it is... I wouldn't say that I really, really like it. I'm going to put Evil Dead 2 in B tier. I know! They had such a limited budget with the first film. I saw it when I was far too young. Far, far too young. Exceptionally young. What was the budget? It was only 6 figures to make. But I originally saw The Evil Dead, the first one. I think I was 5 years old. About 5 years old. And I was forced to watch it. I didn't know what I was watching, but a family member simply brought it home on VHS and said, "We're going to watch a movie." And I said, "Okay." Okay. The tree. I did not like that very much when I was 5 years old. I did not like that very much. I always wanted to own the Necronomicon. The one from the film. I just loved the way it looked. I thought it looked so silly. Let's see. Now we must log The Evil Dead 2. I love Sam Raimi though. Do I want to give it 3.5 or 4? What do you all think? 3.5 or 4? It was a very low budget body shock horror. Oh my goodness, it gave me terrible, terrible nightmares. But it would just look so, so good. I suppose I would give it a 3.5. I've watched this before. I'll give it a 3.5. Also, you can see my favorite films. These are 4 of my favorite movies. That would be Stand By Me, Monster, Steel Magnolias, and The Descent. These are 4 of my favorite movies that I love very much. The Descent is my favorite horror movie. And I eventually would like to watch Steel Magnolias with you all. It is a comedy drama movie from the 80s where it's set in the Deep South and it's about various women's lives. And a majority of the film is this comedy, fun little movie, and then you see like glimpses of oh, that's kind of sad. And then the last 30 minutes are just absolutely miserable. Just absolutely miserable. And I love it. It has Dolly Parton in it. And Sally Field. And Natalie Portman. It's got a very good cast. It's excellent. And then I love Monster or Kaibutsu. It came out in 2023. And it is such an interesting movie. It's one of those movies where I felt like I would normally cry But the way it had me feeling and thinking, all I could do was just kind of sit in silence when it was over. There was much to think about. I love Kaibutsu. I love it very much. And of course, Stand By Me. Stand By Me. It is such a wonderful, classic coming-of-age movie. Define the genre. So good. So good. Favorite Aliens movie? I enjoyed the first Alien. Actually, that's on the... That's here. Right here. We can go ahead and rank that one. I really love Alien. But I would not say it is perfect, if that makes sense. I think it is a great movie, but I would not say it's perfect. And so, I will put it in A tier. I will put it in A tier. A bit of a controversial opinion, but... what was it called? Romulus. Romulus. I did see Romulus in theaters. I've seen all of the Alien movies thus far, and I've started watching Alien Earth. I quite like Alien. I'm very excited for Alien Isolation too, and we will have to play that on stream. It is an iconic classic. It is. I do think the first film is better than every Alien film. Controversial, but I believe that... I think Romulus is quite good. A lot of people seem to not like it, but I liked Romulus quite a bit. I liked Romulus quite a bit. I definitely think it could have been a lot more. I think a lot more could have happened. That a lot of things could have been done better, but I quite liked it. I liked it better than Covenant and Prometheus. Romulus is probably the most Alien movie we've gotten since the OG Alien. That's how I felt. That's how I felt. Oh, goodness. Covenant was an interesting watch. I saw it in theaters as well. We're ranking them about how good they are as movies. I didn't like Prometheus and Covenant. I had a fun time watching Covenant. I did not really have that much fun watching Prometheus, though. I really, really enjoyed Romulus. So how about we rank that one? Alien. Ridley Scott. I think I would give it 4.5. I don't think it's perfect, but I think it's almost there. I don't think it's perfect, but I think it's almost there. So I will put it at 4.5. Hey, Komo. Hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. Covenant was entertaining. Prometheus looked gorgeous, but good God. Oh, I know. It looked great. It looked great. Oh! My mouse immediately hovered over to the most wonderful horror movie of all time, The Descent! Which I will have to log. I love The Descent. I think it's so awesome and wonderful. It is so good. I love the claustrophobia. I love the all-female cast and the drama and the alternate endings. I love it. I love it. UK or US version? I think they're both good. I like either ending. Either ending is totally fine in my book. I do not speak about the sequel. I don't know what you're talking about. What sequel? The Descent does not have sequels. It is a standalone movie. It's a standalone movie. It's a standalone movie. That's all you need to know. Just remember, guys, opinions are never wrong. They are all subjective. Wrong! There are wrong opinions. Some people do have shit taste. Alright, let's see. Oh, the OG Evil Dead. Now, I would put that in A. I would put that in A. I do prefer it over Evil Dead 2. So we will go ahead and log that. I do like it quite a bit. I will put this at 4. I will put this at 4. Pacific Rim. Oh, that reminds me. This morning I made a tweet. I'm not sure if any of you saw it. Well, I feel if you did, but... I was laying in bed trying to decide if I wanted to get up and start my day when... Sometimes I'll just get memories of movies that I watched while I was growing up. And I remembered Mighty Joe Young. Not the 1949 version, but the 1998 Disney version. I remembered it. And I remember how I cried every time I watched it. For those of you that don't know, it's about a giant gorilla. Not like King Kong. Well, kind of, but not really. And I remembered how I'd watch it all the time on VHS. All the time on VHS. The big gorilla, but not Kong. Yes, exactly. Return to Monkey. The other big gorilla. Yes. King Kong is a bigger gorilla. I feel like it is such a sweet movie. And the leading actress is very attractive. Very attractive. I like it quite a bit. I would like to watch it again sometime soon. Event Horizon. Oh. It is so boring. It is so boring. I hate Event Horizon. I don't think it's the worst movie. I don't think it's the worst movie, but I can't say that I think it's a good movie. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of Event Horizon, where it belongs. Oh my goodness. No. I can't say I enjoy it. I can't. Event Horizon. I'm going to give it 2 stars. The premise is better than the execution. I have to agree. I have to agree. Oh. Oh, go on, you little lizards. Go on. I'll give it 2 stars. It was pretty hamstrung. Let's see. The original Scream. Fun fact, one of my favorite t-shirts to wear to bed is actually a Scream t-shirt with Drew Barrymore on the front. It's a photo of, not a photo, but an image of her holding the phone, like in the original scene in the movie. I do like Scream. Scream is a fun one, right? But I don't think it's a great movie. It's fun. It's a classic. It really set a standard, or rather, it set the stage. It set the stage for a lot of horror and slashers in the future. I'd put Scream in B. I think I'd put Scream in B because it is very influential and it had an epic yaoi pairing at the end. It was amazing. Matthew Lillard. Yes, it revitalized the genre. The first meta horror movie, yes, exactly. So I would put it, I'd put it in B. Very influential. I suppose I'd give it 3.5. 3.5. Based on enjoyability and also how it's influenced the genre. It really does hold up very well. It does, it does, it does. What does my tattoo say? Oh, I'm very excited for Scary Movie 6. Why not A? Because I don't think it is that compelling of a movie. It is influential. It did a lot for the genre, but I don't think it's that great of a movie. So I put it in B. But wait! There's more! Let's see. Oh, the original Shudder. Not the American remake. Not to be confused with the American remake. I believe that this movie's original origin is Thailand. The original Shudder, I actually watched on my birthday some years ago. I'd seen the American version, and then I thought to myself, oh, I should watch the original. And so I did, and it was leagues better. It was leagues better. It had such great tension, and it just really built up this feeling of dread and like piecing everything together. I have to say, I really enjoy the original Shudder. The original Shudder is quite good. I don't think it is amazing, but it is very, very good. Very, very good. Very, very good. Scary Movie as a whole got a bit worse off when Cindy left. Brenda was fun. Well, good thing they're both coming back for Scary Movie 6. Good thing. Good thing, good thing. I believe that the original Shudder came out in 2004, while the remake, the American remake, came out in 2008, I think. Oh my, it's raining. It was not supposed to rain today. It was supposed to rain tomorrow. Shudder, yes, exactly. 4. I'll give it a 4. I'll give it a 4 out of 5. Have you ever played Metroid Fusion? No, I've never played any Metroid games. A lot of mainstream games I've never played. A lot of them I've never played. I need more water. My lizards have calmed down. Oh, and my yard looks wonderful! My yard looks wonderful. Thank goodness. I wouldn't call Metroid mainstream. I would. I would. One of the lady from Metroid is literally in Smash, is she not? I thought anything in Smash was mainstream. But also, I've never played Smash, so... It depends who you ask. It's pretty mainstream, like there's a whole game genre named after it. I see. I feel like everyone I know has heard of Metroid. Or has played it. I would consider that mainstream. I feel like if almost everyone has seen it or played it, or heard of it, that I would consider it mainstream. It's just like how... Attack on Titan is mainstream. Ever heard of Cyberpunk 2077? I have heard of it. I have heard of it. I haven't played it. I don't think it's a game that I would enjoy, per se. Not as... I don't think Metroid is well known as Mario or Sonic, per se, but... Yes. I feel like it is a very large franchise that quite a lot of people know about. All right. The Cabin in the Woods. Now, I will give it its flowers. I will give The Cabin in the Woods its flowers. I will. I think that it was a really unique movie. I just did not like it very much. But I think game recognizes game. It is a fun movie. I just did not like it very much. So, I'd put it in B or C. B or C. Alright, I'm going to put it in C. I'll put it in C. And I will log it. I don't think it's so bad that I give it 2.5. I will give it 3. I will give it 3 stars. I'll give it 3 stars. Right, a bit better than average for me. A bit better than average. Now, Terrifier, the first Terrifier film. So I'm a big fan of gore. I'm a big fan of gore and blood and guts and the like, and slashing and hacking, but these aren't good movies. They're fun, especially if you love gore, but it's not good. It's not good. It's very gory and it looks nice. But I don't think it's a good movie. I don't think the Terrifier films are good movies. I like to watch them because I know I know what to expect. I know what to expect. And I think maybe that's the problem. They're fun, but they're not good. I will put it in C because while I don't think they're very good, they're fun, the gore is really well done, and Art the Clown is a trendsetter. He is very well known. He really made a name for himself. He really made a name for himself. But Terrifier would not be what it is without Art the Clown, and so he does carry the franchise. He does carry the franchise. So, I'm going to... But controversial. I'm going to give it a 2.5. I'm not going to rate it the same as Cabin in the Woods, because I don't think it's a very good movie, but I think it is fun. It is fun gore slop. It's fun gore slop. I just woke up. Hello, welcome, good morning. Hearts were broken. All right. So V-Sensei's favorite horror movie is The Sixth Sense. The Sixth Sense. V-Sensei mentioned yes, Miss V-Sensei. It is a good film. It is a good film. It is a good film. But do I want to give praise to M. Night Shyamalan? Do I want to give praise to M. Night Shyamalan. I do love Haley Joel Osment and Toni Collette, though. I'll give it an A. I'll give it an A. The Shyamalan diva. I love Haley Joel Osment, Bruce Willis, Toni Collette. It's really, you know. It was one of his better films. It was. But also, I don't know if I would classify it as a horror movie. See, Signs was better. I think Signs is a better horror movie. This is more of a thriller. And a little bit of a drama. But I do think it has horror elements. I think it has horror elements. And so I will leave it here for V-Sensei. I'll leave it here for V-Sensei. It also is a good film. It is a thriller with sprinkles of horror, yes. Isn't The Sixth Sense the only good Shyamalan movie? Yes. You would be correct. The Sixth Sense. I would give it a 4 out of 5. I would give it a 4 out of 5. Or V-Sensei. Or V-Sensei. Let's see. The only two films that I only prefer from M. Night Shyamalan are Unbreakable and Split. You know, I don't think Trap is a good movie, but I had a very fun time watching it. I saw it in theaters with my family, and I have to say it was quite enjoyable with other people. It was quite enjoyable with other people. It was a fun movie. It wasn't a good movie. But it was fun. It was fun. Let's see. Hereditary. Now, this is a movie that really put Ari Aster on the map. And I loved it. I saw it in theaters, and it blew me away. It is a film that, when you're going into it for the first time, I don't think you ever expect what happens. And I feel like with Ari Aster films, that's very common. You really just don't expect the kind of fuck shit that he comes up with. I really enjoy it. The only problem with Hereditary is its ending. It had such a strong beginning and middle, but its ending is so lackluster. It is so lackluster, but I do think it is a very good horror film. I think it is one of the best horror films that came out in a really long time when it released. Also, I love Toni Collette. She carried this film, by the way. She carried it. I'll put it an A. I'll put it an A. I don't think it's perfect because of its ending, but I think it is a good film. I'll give it 4 stars. We were getting slop for so long. So long. I feel like Hereditary is what made me start going back to the theaters for horror movies. It does have a nice soundtrack. Alright. Next we have Five Nights at Freddy's. I don't think it's a good film, but Josh Hutcherson saves it. He is a silly little guy, and I do really, really enjoy Josh Hutcherson. It is a movie for the fans. I don't think it's a good film. It's not well made. But Josh Hutcherson is in it. Matthew Lillard is in it. That's enough to save it from an F tier. That's enough to save it from an F tier, I'll say. I'll say. Some actors really do save a film from being slop. It is slop, but it's not, you know, unbearable slop. I'll give it 2 stars. I'll give it 2 stars. It was a movie for the fans. Am I a fan? Would Perfect Blue qualify? I'd say so, and Perfect Blue is one of my favorite movies. I'd easily put it in S tier. I love Perfect Blue. But we are only rating and ranking the movies that everyone submitted on Twitter. If you want your choice to be shown on stream every Tuesday, be sure to look out for my Twitter for whenever I make Tier List Tuesday posts on Twitter. I will be asking, what's your favorite horror movie? What's your favorite action movie? What's your favorite comedy movie and the like? And you will submit, and then I will collect answers for the following Tuesday. Perfect Blue was so influential. The callbacks in Black Swan. Let's see. The original Dawn of the Dead. Not the one from the 2000s, the original. The original. I'm thinking. Reminder, this is the one that came out in 1978. It has been very influential. I'm trying to decide between S or A based on my own personal enjoyment. I remember the first time I watched the original, I didn't like it that much, but also I feel like I was a bit younger and couldn't appreciate it as much. And then I rewatched it in the last year or two. And I liked it quite a bit. I'll put it in A. I feel like the quality is an A, like you mentioned. The influence is S. The actual quality, I feel like it is an A. I'll give it a solid 4.5. Have a good stream. Thank you. Have a great rest of your day. Where's Cabin in the Woods? I put Cabin in the Woods in C. I did not like the movie very much. Let's see. Next we have... It Follows. I felt like this was a very, very unique concept. Very unique concept. I don't think it needs a sequel like they're making. They're making They Follow. I don't think it needs a sequel. I think it was fine the way it was. I think it should have just ended there because I think it's quite good. I'll put it at A. It was very fun. It was really well made. It had a fantastic soundtrack. It was well edited, and it was new. It was new. It was new. I really, really enjoyed it. I'll give it a 4. Hope they learn how to beat it. That is the STD demon. now we have the original Poltergeist. Now, talk about influential films. Talk about influential. It is a fantastic movie that used real skeletons. I'd say I'd put it in S. I'd put it in S. I'll give it 4.5 stars though. I don't think it's perfect, but I do think it deserves an S. It does deserve an S. Now, weapons. Weapons. This just came out. I saw it in theaters. And it was interesting to see Zach Krieger, I believe, make this movie. Same person as Barbarian. I really had fun watching this. I really had fun watching it. It was not quite what I expected. I was a little naughty, and the script was actually available online before the movie released, and I did read the script before I saw the movie. But it was very interesting to see it all come together, how the dialogue was, how they directed everything. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I believe that I previously ranked this 4 stars. I did enjoy it, and I thought it was quite funny as well. It was quite funny. I love when comedians make horror movies. I love it. I love it. One of my favorite moments from the movie, I'm not going to spoil details, but the car scene. The car scene? It was one of those scenes where you start laughing, right? You start laughing. It's like, haha, such a funny moment. And then it immediately becomes like, haha. I think I'll put it an A. I quite enjoyed it. I quite enjoyed it. I liked it a lot. I will give it 4 stars again. Yes, horror films with a good mix of dark comedy are so wonderful. Alright, now Final Destination, the OG Final Destination. They're so camp. I have a lot of fun watching them, but I cannot say they are well-made films. I did see Bloodlines in theaters this year, though. I did see Bloodlines in theaters. I try to watch all of them. I actually had Final Destination 3 on DVD when I was younger. They are not well made, but oh, they're so much fun to watch, aren't they? Yeah, fun does not equal good. I do appreciate that Final Destination gives people more things to be afraid of. And for that, it gets extra points, you know? They're creative. They, you know, you may have never feared a truck with a bunch of logs attached to the back until you watch Final Destination. You may not have been afraid of roller coasters before you watched Final Destination. You may not have been afraid of tanning beds or MRI machines and the like before watching Final Destination. So, I'll put it in B. I'll put it in B. I think that it is influential. It affects people and makes them scared of things outside of the film. For that, it does get extra points. But they're very campy. They're not well made, but they are fun. They are fun. Hello, DK. So I will give it B. It's very iconic. I will give this, I'll give it a 3.5. The server returned an error. There we go. Oh, Tony Todd. When I was watching Bloodlines, and it was his scene, I started tearing up very hard in the theater. Oh, no. If I think about it too hard, I will start crying, and I don't want to cry right now. I don't want to cry. Now. A Quiet Place. The first Quiet Place film. I felt like A Quiet Place is well made. It is excellent at building tension. I mean, it has to, otherwise it would just be boring without speaking. But I love the monster design. I love the monster design. I think it's well made. And it's a fun watch. It's a fun watch. It's a fun watch, but it's a little bit of Hollywood slop. It's good slop, but it's a little bit Hollywood sloppa, if that makes sense. I really enjoyed the latest Quiet Place movie. I saw it in theaters as well last year. I'll put it in B. I'll put it in B. I don't think it's amazing, but I quite enjoyed it, and I think that it is well made. I'll give it 3.5 stars. I've watched it before. There was another sequel for A Quiet Place, yes. It was called Day One, and it was about the first day that the monsters landed on Earth. Did you know that the monsters, the aliens, don't eat people? They just kill people for violent reasons. They're actually vegetarians, or they eat their own produced food. Let's see. Velocipaster. Anyway, Halloween, the original Halloween. The original Halloween. When I think about it, it is definitely a classic. But if I rinse off nostalgia and influence, is it really that amazing? It does hold up surprisingly well. The soundtrack is quite good. Oh, Jackie, you have quite the opinion. I'd agree that it is not on par with The Thing. So I'm going to put it in A. I think it's solid. I think it's solid and a classic, but I don't think it is on par with The Thing. And so I will give it 4 stars. Now, VHS, the original VHS. I talked about this a little bit a few days ago. They're fun. The segments can be interesting and well made, but not all of the segments are well made is the thing. Not all segments are good when it comes to the VHS films, but this is just the first. I do feel that the first and second VHS films are the best in the franchise. I do prefer the second one more than the first, though. I'll put it in C. And I will give it 3 stars. I will give it 3 stars. Not snuff footage per se, it's all found footage segments, all by different directors. The Ugly Stepsister. Now this is a newer one. This is one that came out this year, I believe. I did see it. And it actually is quite good. It actually is quite good. It's a Norwegian horror movie. Well, it's like a black comedy with body horror. It's a black comedy with body horror, and it's quite good. Is it streaming on anywhere? It is, I believe it is on... You have to have a subscription to watch it anywhere. It's AMC, YouTube, Amazon, those kind of places. It's not streaming for free. It's still quite new. I'm gonna give it B. I'm gonna give it a B. And I think that I will give it a 3.5 out of 5. Ugh, my throat. Who do you think was the imposter in The Thing? You mean between MacReady or... I think it's open to interpretation, is it not? Because anybody could be The Thing, you know. There's also Palmer. I think open-ended is far more fun. I feel like I never questioned who the imposter was, necessarily. No glasses today. Well, that's The Thing. Exactly. That's The Thing. I don't think it's something I ever really thought about. Now, we have the Evil Dead remake. I actually thought this was really well made. I thought this was very well made. I have it on DVD. I liked it a lot. I loved the gore. It was a really good addition to the franchise. It's a very fun remake. It was really good. I would say it's just as good as the original, so I think I will put it in A tier as well. Let's see. I think I will give it 4 stars. The recent one or 2013? The recent one was a sequel. The recent one was a sequel. It had a budget, it did. Evil Dead over Evil Dead 2 is a wild take, but it makes sense if you're not a fan of the campiness that Bruce Campbell and his mighty chin inject in once he gets into his groove. I enjoy the Evil Dead films. I just prefer the first one more than the others. And I think they're better. Wait a moment, I'm going to get a cough drop. Now let's see. Shaun of the Dead. Now this is more of a comedy, but it is very fun. It is very fun. It is very, very funny. And a very good time. You know what? I will put it in A. I'll put it in A. It is a very fun movie. It is such a good comedy, it is. I'll give it 4. Let's see. Now... We do like fun. We do like fun. Now, we have... Crimson Peak. Crimson Peak. I'm not really a fan of Crimson Peak. I'm not really a fan. I do not have a favorite or least favorite Saw trap. I have a favorite Saw movie. Saw 2. I'm not really a Crimson Peak fan. I feel like it's so forgettable. I feel like it's such a forgettable movie. I'll put Crimson Peak in C. I'll put it in C. Which is such a shame because I love Guillermo del Toro. I'll give it 3 stars. I'll give it 3 stars. I do think it's quite forgettable, but it is well made. It is well made. It is beautiful. It is wonderful to look at, but I think it is so forgettable. Tale of Two Sisters. It is very good, but I was left wanting much more. If that makes sense? I feel like I was left wanting a lot more than what I got. A reminder. Oh, it's there's this girl that is sent back home after being in like a mental hospital for a while. And you know, she's reunited with her sister, and they found that their dad got remarried and all that. And it's well made. It's well made, but I wish that more happened. I wish more happened. I was left wanting more, but I do think it's well made. I do think it's a good film. So I will put it in B. I'll put it in B. Here we go. I'll give it 3.5. Have we done Martyrs yet? No, nobody submitted Martyrs. I'm only going over films that were submitted via Twitter. Do you consider The Menu a horror movie? More like a thriller? A suspense thriller, kind of? A bit of a comedy, drama, but not really a horror movie. I did see it in theaters, though. I liked it. Someone submitted Sweeney Todd. Someone submitted Sweeney Todd. Which I understand a bit. It is a good movie, but it's such an interesting genre. It is an interesting submission to the genre. It is an interesting addition, but based off personal enjoyment, I'd put it in C. I don't really feel Sweeney Todd. Am I misspelling it? Yes. I'll give it a 2.5. I'll give it a 2.5. Now, The Conjuring 2. So, I like the first two Conjuring movies. I thought that the first one was excellent. The second one, I feel like it could have been excellent if they didn't have the worst CGI ever. In fact, I'm going to admit something. The Conjuring 2 actually made me cry. When the father was playing the guitar and he was singing, I always cry. I always cry when I watch the movie and that scene comes up when he starts singing Can't Help Falling in Love. I just can't. I can't control myself. The tears just start flowing. I can't help it. But I do think that The Conjuring 2 is good. It's not as good as the first, and I feel like if it just didn't have terrible CGI, it could have been really good. I'm going to put it in B. I'm going to put it in B. I'm going to put it in B and give it 3 stars. And now, we have another classic, which is Misery. Misery. Love Kathy Bates. It is very, very good. I love Kathy Bates. It's a classic. It is very iconic. It is well acted. It is well directed. It's well made. But is it on par? You know what? Yes, I think that Misery is on par. I will put Misery in S tier. Wait. Let me drink some water. I don't think it's perfect though, so I'll give it a 4.5. And now, our last submission for the day is... So, they submitted all of the Fear Street movies, but I selected my favorite, which is 1978. Fear Street 1978. It's a part of a trilogy, a Netflix trilogy. And this one has Sadie Sink in it, and Emily Rudd. But I don't think Fear Street are that good, but they're very fun. It is an enjoyable experience. I do think it's an enjoyable experience. It's either B or C for me. But I don't think it's on par with Scream. I'll put it in C, but I'll give it a 3. Because I did enjoy it a lot. Whew. All right, well, we did it, everyone. We got through all the submissions via Twitter, at least the ones that I could see. So now we have Leave Me Alone. So now we have documented over 30 films so far. Leave me alone, I'm not turning off my ad block. We were quite generous today. One moment, I'm going to move over to this screen. Hello. Hello. If I may, I believe you are wrong and Velocipaster is S and... Oh, forgive me. Are you dyslexic? That was pretty nice, actually. I'm so glad you think so. We will be back next week with another Tier List Tuesday. I haven't decided the genre yet, but I will figure something out, and then I will ask for everyone's suggestions probably over the weekend. This was fun. I'm glad you think so. It is very fun to have film discussion. It is exceptionally fun, and I had a wonderful time. Unfortunately, I do have to depart. There are quite a few things that I do have to do today. But I very much appreciate your companionship. Thank you all for joining me today for the first Tier List Tuesday. I will be back for more Tier List Tuesday next Tuesday. But in general, I will be back tomorrow for a little bit of a gaming stream. It'll probably be a quite short stream. Mainly since the game is about 40 minutes to an hour long. Not very long, but it'll be a fun time, certainly. Let me find someone for us to raid. Is no one streaming right now? I suppose no one is streaming right now, so... Do you all have any recommendations for who to raid? Meow is live? Meow? Manui? We are going to raid into Miss Meow. Alright. Well, thank you all so much for coming out, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye for now. Thank you so much for coming, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.